Workers recently established a union, yet they say they lack basic labor rights. In Palestine, the Israeli genocide in Gaza continues on its 158th day. Zionist forces committed 8 new massacres against families in the occupied territories. And in Germany, transport unions held another 24-hour strike to demand better working conditions. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The resignation of Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry was confirmed at a press conference of the Community of Caribbean States, CARICOM, in Kingston, Jamaica. Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry did not attend Monday the meeting in Jamaica convened by CARICOM to try to find a solution to the crisis in Haiti. In his place, the now former Prime Minister, who is currently stranded in Puerto Rico after parliamentary groups took control of the country, shared through his account in social media X a pre-recorded video where he confirmed his resignation after weeks of growing tension and violence in his country. Thus, the move that was already underway a week ago is completed and the process for the installation of a transitional government begins.
No sacrifice is too great for our country. The government I lead will resign immediately after the installation of a council. We will be a provisional government until a prime minister and new cabinet are appointed. I want to thank the Haitian people for the opportunity they have given me. I ask all Haitians to remain calm and to do everything possible to bring back peace and stability as soon as possible.
Parliamentary groups that maintain control of more than 80% of Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, assured that they will not accept the intervention of foreign forces. The coalition of criminal groups recently formed under the name Living Together, and which this Monday obtained its first victory with the confirmation of the resignation of the Prime Minister Ariel Henry, rejects all international efforts to find a way out of the serious crisis the country is experiencing. Jimmy TeleSUR, the gang leader who convened the alliance, affirmed in a public meeting that they launched a battle to free the country from the grip of the traditional politicians and the corrupt oligarchs. He asked the international community to give the country a chance and let the Haitians decide their destiny. Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro affirmed that the United States finances and provide arms to criminal groups in Haiti.
In Haiti, there is an uprising of the criminal groups. Who is behind the uprising of the criminal groups? Very powerful groups. Who armed those criminal groups with those rifles that we see? Who? Were assembled on their own? Where did the weapons come from? They have been denouncing for 4 years that the arms came legally from the United States. Why didn't the United States do anything? Who is interested in the chaos in Haiti? Who is interested in it? Who is asking for an invasion of Haiti? Let's draw conclusions.
In addition, the Venezuelan head of state declared that the United States government was behind the financing of criminal gangs in Venezuela and the conspiracies dismantled last year.
What is happening in Haiti? They wanted to do it in Venezuela. The same, with criminal groups, in the Guarimbas of 2014, in the Guarimbas of 2017. And last year, which we dismantled 5 conspiracies. The objective was precisely for the criminal groups to get the command. They will attack the main cities. They will chaotize the country with violence. They will sink the economy again. And then the call will be for the invasion of foreign forces. That is what the criminal groups call the new form of insurgencies that is applied to destabilize and dominate the countries. The solution in Haiti has to be a comprehensive solution. There has to be comprehensive support for the people of Haiti, economically, socially, and seek peaceful through other methods.
In Peru, delivery workers through digital platforms have recently established a union. However, they lack elementary labor rights, and that is why they demand their employers and the general state attention to reverse their situation.
The situation of delivery and digital platform workers are outside the margins of labor regulation. They do not have contracts, rights, or insurance against accidents. This is why they carry out a national level strike. Many of these colleagues have an accident, and an accident is the most basic thing is 6 months without work activity. Who recognizes me? Nothing else, us. Because we cover the SOT, but if the accident exceeds the limits of the SOT, what is the security? What is the responsibility of the application? Because the application says, beware, it only tells you that the supposed company, for security issues, recognizes you when you have the order 30 minutes until after having delivered, but that is a lie. They demand better rates for their routes and to cease abuses such as the blocking of accounts, which were detected by several of the delivery drivers where they comply with the stop. The workers of digital platforms do not know the owner. It is simply digital, and today because they have made a stop which they demand better working conditions, salaries, and better remunerations and distribution rates, what they have done simply is cancel the account they have blocked their accounts. It is like a retaliation that attacks the right to union freedom. In Congress, there are more than a dozen projects on this topic, but because they are trapped in the Labor Committee, legislator Jaime Quiro considers it urgent that they are approved and passed to the plenary session for debate.
I think it is fundamental because it is one of the sectors of workers that are starting to organize because there is a lot of labor exploitation. The minimum rights that these workers should have are not respected. The payments that are made for the service they provide are very low. Apart from they should have the right to insurance because they may are prone to have traffic accidents, and I think it is important that bills benefiting this vulnerable sector have to be approved quickly.
For the director of Digital Platform Observatory, Alejandro Di Negro, the Ministry of Labor should start guaranteeing some elemental rights for this sector.
There are some aspects that the Ministry of Labor can begin to regulate regarding workplace harassment that have been evidenced in the matters of health and safety at work. The ministry can intervene without necessarily having a legislative debate because it's their job to guarantee the rights of all people who are worth the redundancy working in this country. And it's not an issue of skin color or nationality, but there are many people here who more than 70% consider employment on platform as their first source of employment income.
The workers reiterate their call to the state to recognize the right to dialogue since, according to them, the unilateral decisions taken by the companies like Rappi or others already precarize work and violate union freedom.
Ramiro Angulo Maquiavelo, TeleSUR, Lima.
In Argentina, workers of the national news agency TELAM reject the decision of the executive branch and demand that the agency be put back to work. In an assembly attended by more than 500 workers held at the Workers' Union building, they rejected the voluntary retirements and announced that they will continue with the campouts and protests. For more than 2 hours, they discussed the right to information of citizens. In addition to resistance actions, they affirmed that they will maintain through the portal Somos TELAM all the contents that the government of the President Javier Milei has decided to censor.
That's why we are demonstrating here. That's why we are going to continue with the campaigns, because we are going to defend TELAM's agency. So let's make this action and all the actions we have been carrying out visible. We are going to defend TELAM.
Argentina's weather authorities reported that they will uphold an orange alert in Buenos Aires due to recent heavy rains. During the day, authorities reported delays in traffic and some structural damages. In addition to the suspension of flights until further notice, and others will be diverted due to thunderstorms. The National Meteorological Service warned about the possibility of hail and informed that rain will continue to fall for the rest of the week. Authorities also reported flooded streets and downed trees. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok now at TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. On the 158th day of the Israeli genocide in Palestine, Zionist forces commit 8 new massacres against families in the occupied territories. During the last 24 hours, at least 72 people were killed and 129 others wounded by Israeli military, where 72% of the fatalities are women and children. Meanwhile, the number of people killed by malnutrition and dehydration rose to 27 due to Tel Aviv's prohibition to allow humanitarian aid into the Palestinian territories. To date, 31,184 people have lost their lives, while 72,889 have been injured since the Israeli siege of October 7th. Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesman Majed Al-Ansari stated on Tuesday at a press conference in Doha that Israel and Hamas are not close to reaching an agreement on the cessation of hostilities in Gaza and the release of hostages.
I can't offer any timeline, sadly, at the moment. The situation is very complicated on the ground. We are not near a deal, meaning that we are not seeing both sides converging on a language that can resolve the current disagreements over the implementation of the deal. But we remain hopeful, and we continue pushing for a deal to happen in the near future.
On the other hand, the Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesman also regretted that the people of Gaza were not able to welcome the holy month of Ramadan with any notion of peace.
Thank you, Callum. As I was just saying, we were all hoping that the people of Gaza can receive the holy month of Ramadan with some notion of peace, some notion of normalcy, and sadly that did not happen. All of us were pushing towards that happening before the beginning of Ramadan. However, that did not deter us from continuing the work and the negotiations to reach a deal, hopefully within the confines of Ramadan. When it comes to
a ship carrying humanitarian aid to Gaza sailed from Cyprus on Tuesday, reported the World Central Kitchen, a non-profit organization that said it is the first maritime shipment of aid to the Gaza Strip. In this way, the ship departed from the port city of Larnaca with about 200 tons of food on the open arms ship to deliver much-needed aid to the Gazans. In the meantime, World Central Kitchen announced that it had partnered with the United Arab Emirates, Cyprus, and also with the Spanish charity organization Open Arms to coordinate the shipment. It should be noted that the aid shipment comes as Cyprus, the European Commission, the United States, the United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom work to establish a maritime corridor to deliver aid directly to Gaza. In this context, Jens Laerke, spokesman for the UN humanitarian agency, assured that the local population in North Gaza needs the safe and regular delivery of this humanitarian assistance.
Food and other emergency aid that comes into Gaza, as we all know, is desperately needed. There is no question about it. So it's highly appreciated, as the airdrops that we have seen. What's important for us to stress again and again, and sorry if I sound like a broken record, but it's not a substitute for the overland transport of food and other emergency aid into Gaza, and particularly northern Gaza. It cannot make up for that. So, make no mistake, it is welcome, but we need the overland access and the safe and secure and regular delivery within Gaza as well.
On Monday, the Israeli occupation forces continued the daily incursions on several cities in the occupied West Bank, detaining several Palestinians, while various areas there witnessed confrontations with Palestinian resistance fighters. Palestinians also confronted the raiding Israeli forces on Monday evening in the town of Al-Qader, south of Beit Lam. Local media reported the martyrdom of Palestinian youth Mohammad Jafar Mustafa Yab from the town of Araba, south of Jenin. This comes as the number of Palestinians detained by Israeli occupation forces during raids on several parts of the West Bank continues to rise steadily and rapidly. The Detainees and Ex-Detainees Affairs Commission and the Palestinian Prisoners Society announced that the total number of detained Palestinians since October 7th rose to 7,530.
In the early hours of the morning, special forces from the Israeli army stormed the gate and entered the house, arresting everyone inside. They arrested the father and his sons. There are stains of blood in the house, and nobody knows what has happened to them, and we do not know what the state of health is. I was standing in this room when I was startled by gunfire directed at the house. There are traces of 2 bullet holes in the wall under the window. Then 2 or 3 members of the special forces came in and said to me, "Old man, stay in this room." And one soldier stopped here, and another stopped in front of the window, and they started shooting.
The Lebanese organization Hezbollah confirmed having fired more than 100 Katyusha rockets against several military posts of the Israeli occupier. In this sense, the resistance movement indicated that the action is a response to the bombardments of the Israeli occupier that left a civilian dead and several wounded in Baalbek. On the other hand, Hezbollah also confirmed that the attack is the largest and most massive since tensions began on October 8, 2023. In this regard, the Tel Aviv Defense Forces reported the attack coming from Lebanon, explaining that there were neither dead nor wounded, although they recognized strong explosions in different points of the territory. We have a fun short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Found your break? Don't go away. Welcome back from the south. In Germany, the national rail operator Deutsche Bahn and Lufthansa held another 24-hour strike to demand better working conditions. The GDL strike is the 6th by train drivers and other rail workers in a month-long dispute with Deutsche Bahn over wages and hours. The main striking point is GDL's demand for working hours to be reduced from 38 to 35 hours per week without a pay cut. Tuesday's strike by flight attendants at Lufthansa City Line is the latest labor action to affect the German carrier. The Independent Flight Attendants Organization Union said their members' strike would affect departures from Frankfurt Airport and flights out of Munich. Over 1,000 flights are expected to be cancelled. UFO is calling for a 15% pay increase as well as one-time inflation compensation payment of 3,000 euros for its roughly 18,000 members.
The thing is, I've got no opinion, I don't live here. At the end of the day, people have to do what they want to do, don't they, basically. If they think they've got justice in doing it, then so be it.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said Tuesday the EU's executive arm will recommend that member countries open accession negotiations with Bosnia-Herzegovina. According to experts, this move could seek to bring the country closer to European interests and further away from Russian influence.
Of course, more progress is necessary to join our union, but the country is showing that it can deliver on its membership criteria and on its citizens' aspirations to be part of our family. The good news comes now. This is the reason that we will decide to recommend to the Council to open accession negotiations with Bosnia and Herzegovina.
On Tuesday, the head of the United Nations Atomic Agency met with Japan's Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry in Tokyo. It's Grossi's first visit to Japan since releases of the treated water began in August.
Look forward to meeting with the local communities, as you mentioned, with the mayors in the region, with the fishermen's associations, with the Chamber of Commerce, with students, the young generations that have shown willingness to meet with me, to ask questions, easy questions, difficult questions, whatever is in their minds. I think it's very important to show the transparency of this process.
In Jersey, one of the British islands, a dolphin pod was rescued after getting stuck in shallow water on La Rock Beach during one of the biggest tides seen so far this year. The 13-strong pod of common dolphins were able to survive thanks to the combined efforts of a team from British divers, Marine Life Rescue, alongside with members of the Fisheries Department, Jersey Coast Guard and Fire Service. The rescuers helped to keep the creatures calm and secure while they waited for the tide to come back. A spokesperson for Ports of Jersey declared that they were pleased that the dolphins were able to safely return to sea and took the opportunity to thank everyone involved for their efforts in achieving this positive outcome. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. Also join us on our social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.